Oh, you're gonna make some girl so happy one day.
Yeah,
you're such a great
and
guy.
You know what's Yo, bro, they'll tell him that. They'll tell him that. Yo, you're such a great guy. You're one of the good ones.
You're one of the good ones.
But
yeah.
you ain't trying to.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to.
You ain't trying to slide in
bro.
though. So Tyler, I have been seeing videos, TikToks, YouTube videos, the whole shebang, day after day of essentially people saying, Betty, I should start with this. Why do women say there are no more good men? You can't find any of them. Because I've been seeing this over and over and over again. And to be honest with you, I see good men all over the place. So what is the correlation here? Why aren't they being able to find each other, you think?
Why do I believe that they aren't able to find each other? I think it's a plethora of reasons. One of the reasons I do believe is in terms of if you want to just start with the women, I think they're looking in the wrong places.
Where do you think they're looking? Online?
I think they're looking online. You know, I know online dating now is pretty huge.
Yeah.
But I do believe you're looking online. But where specifically online? I know Tinder's huge. I know they're,
I heard 2/3 of relationships now in America start online.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which is huge.
That's the majority these days.
But I think a lot of it starts online. I think that's huge. I think especially a lot of females in our age demographic still like to go out, still like to party, still like to have a good time.
They like the clubs and bars.
Exactly. But also that's where they're kind of looking for love. That's where you're looking for a good man at. Not saying you can't find a good man there, but also there's a higher chance that you're going to find a man there who just wants to sleep with you.
That's true.
And who's actually willing to
take you seriously
and wants to have a long-term relationship.
More just like one night stands.
Exactly. So if you're looking at bars and clubs, if you're looking there, I don't think those are really great places to look. I think if you're looking just solely online, i.e. Tinder or i.e. Bumble, I don't think those are always the best places to look either, especially because
there's a stigma behind Tinder.
Tinder is still kind of known as the hookup app.
Yeah. Bumble is a little bit better. They do relationships though.
Yeah, I do think Bumble has a little bit more of a better reputation. I do think kind of with a lot of dating apps, that's the main MO is to hook up. It's not always just to
Well, they say the one Hinge, it's designed for you to delete it, so the whole point is to get into.
I don't fully believe that.
No, no.
Because how do they make their money? They make more money by you staying on the app than you delete.
Yeah. You getting in a relationship doesn't help them.
No,
because you're not paying for their service.
That's what I'm saying. So think about it. You pay for their subscription, but then you find love, and now you cancel the subscription and delete it. So if anything, if they do hook you up, they lose money. Now I understand the way they market it. I think it's a beautiful marketing scheme from their aspect.
We're trying to help you.
Exactly. Yeah. So from their aspect, I respect it. I respect the game, but it's you ain't telling the truth. We all know that you
know you're capping.
Yeah, for real. Because you don't make money for people deleting your app.
So
you make money for people staying on your app. But I can understand, they gotta do. But I think that's a huge part in terms of where you're looking. I also think a lot of women, I think they overlook good men. I believe there are women out there who are in contact with good men, but they don't see those men as
good for them.
Yeah, suitable partners. And I feel like there's a decent amount of men who are in this scenario where they are good men. They're actually willing to take a girl seriously, and they'll be friends with a girl, and that girl would just friend zone that man, and then just tell that man
and complain about the guy,
all the other men that she's getting with, and she's telling him, hey, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. Basically just complaining about all the other men she's with. Let alone she's literally in contact with a good man who actually would love to take her seriously and would actually like to date her and take her out.
It's you're going to make some girl so happy one day.
Yeah,
you're such a great
and
guy.
Bro, they'll tell him that. They'll tell him that. Yo, you're such a great guy. You're one of the good ones.
You're one of the good ones.
But you ain't trying to. You ain't trying to.
You ain't trying to slide in though.
You ain't trying to give my man some play.
It's crazy how
but
that
you're
works.
one of the good ones, which is crazy. I do think there are a lot of men in that situation where they're actually good men and they like the girl, but they're friend zoned by the girl, and the girl is going out there talking to a whole bunch of men who aren't good for her. Or they are the opposite of what she's saying that she's looking for. And then they keep running back to the good man to complain. But yet they never look at that good man as someone that they will actually date and take seriously. They just think of him as a friend.
They just don't pay attention to things like that, man.
Yeah,
it just slips by them completely.
Yeah, and I also do think a part of me believes not all women really want a good man. They say it. They say it.
Interesting there.
But
Okay.
I don't believe all women want a good man.
Okay, go into that real quick.
Because, I mean, look at your actions.
Yeah. Your
So,
actions.
Similar to the scenario I just broke down.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say you want a good man, but you keep messing with men who aren't good for you? That doesn't add up. Like, that, like, legitimately, logically, that makes no sense. How do you want a good man, but every single man that you mess with either does you dirty, just isn't really a good person at all, might cheat on you, might just abuse you, whether that's verbally or physically, might not show you any attention, might not take you seriously, might have a roster of their own. But yeah, you keep going back to men like that. So it's like, do you really want a good man when all the men that you've been with are the complete opposite?
Yeah. I feel like sometimes it also calls into question whether or not you're a good woman too.
You know what I'm saying?
Because if a good man really wants you, he's going to find you. Good men pick good women.
Exactly.
So maybe if you can't find a good man, you're not a good woman in the first place. Good men don't want you. You're not willing to be picked by them.
Yeah, man. I think your actions show. Your actions show a lot. And I know me and you kind of live by a certain code, or at least try our best to live by a certain code.
Of course.
No one's perfect.
Yeah.
But your actions show a lot. A lot of people say they want something, but their actions are the complete opposite of it.
Yeah, what you do.
So it's like, what do you really want?
Mm-hmm. You'll say one thing, but you'll do another.
Yeah.
And after a while, I'm gonna stop listening to what you're saying and watching your actions.
Keep doing the opposite. So it makes it very hard for me to listen to what you're saying, because you're just doing the opposite of what you're saying. So anyone with half a brain is eventually going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm just going to watch what you do. It only takes a couple times to get burned, or a couple times for someone to say one thing and do the other, for you to eventually be like, oh, okay. I see how you are. I see how you move.
Yeah, that's true. And I kind of want to add on to that real quick, because I've heard just from other men out there, whether through me actually speaking to them or just like watching like either YouTube videos or shorts about it, that for a good man, it only takes one time for like a woman to hurt you for you just to close up and never want to
open up again,
bro. And they don't understand that you can't just, when you get one, you don't just fumble that, because that makes it harder for the next girl to even come and get half of what you got.
Yeah.
Because now it's just like, I don't trust none of y'all.
Nah.
You know?
I feel some type of way now.
Yeah, for real. I kind of want to add a couple of my own ideas to this. I think feminism has a large part to play in women's thoughts about men. For the past 60 odd years, I feel as though we have been painted with a very broad brush of the minority of bad guys doing bad things, and all of us get lumped up into it.
Yeah.
So because a couple guys sleep with you and run away, because a couple guys beat you guys and run away and all that type of stuff, all of us are like that. And so because we're all bad men, and you beat that into young girls over and over and over and over again, after a while, they genuinely start to believe they're no good men. So they don't know what characteristics to look for. They don't know what an actual good man treating you is. For some women, it's so surprising when you finally get a good one. They're like, is this what it is? I've seen videos of girls who have been in abusive relationships finally get a good man, and they're tweaking out because they're just like, I don't even know how to handle this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel I'm the problem in the relationship because he's so giving, he's so willing, he's trying to help, and I'm pulling away. I'm like, I'm not used to this. I want to go back to my toxic ex who we fight and we fumble all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that has a decent role to play in just like how women view men, and it's become such a. I think what's happening now is the roosters are just coming to nest at the point. You know, I think everything that has happened over the last couple of years is finally bearing fruit, to wherein women are saying that they can't find any good men, but it's more along the lines that you just don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, if you want to look for them, those good men don't want you because of what you've done to yourselves. You know, there comes a point after a while where it's just kind of like, a guy is only going to approach so many women. A guy is only going to be able to put up with so much. And a lot of us, young men, older men, and even our fathers, we've seen what they have gone through. We've seen the things that they've had to put up with. And a lot of my peers, man, they're just like, yeah, I'm not doing it no more. I prefer to hang out with the boys, play some video games, chill, go to work, focus on me and go to the gym, make myself a better man. So when I do find a good woman, then I'll chase after her. I'm not going to go to clubs. I'm not going to go to bars. I'm not entertaining the whole social media aspect of things where I'm trying to do online dating, trying to hit up girls in the DMs, the whole shebang. And just like it's more peaceful. Why even bother?
Why even bother? You know, that's fair.
The juice ain't worth the squeeze, as they say. I remember one of our friends, Charles, he was like, we have to work twice as hard for half of the women that our grandfathers had. You know, our grandmothers were way better than the generation that we have now. Lower body counts. And actually feminine and willing to come forth and do what's needed to be done. You know? Now the women here want to be men. By all means, you can do that, but a lot of men aren't attracted to men. Of course, yeah, there's a couple out there that are, but for the majority, we like women.
Yeah.
And we don't want our women acting all masculine. We don't want our women acting...
You want you to be feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's truly hard. It's truly hard to argue that, especially in today's society. And I do agree with you, and this is something I don't like. I don't like it with either men or women say this, but it's like there are no good...
Yeah,
women are like
no good anybody.
They're good. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, there's no good women out there. There's no good men out there. I'm like, yo,
you're loving everybody
out
up.
of this whole world.
Like eight billion of us.
All the people who are available in the dating market. You're telling me, out of the 8 billion people, I understand some of them already in relationships, married, all that other stuff. But the people who are suitable, you tell me none of them is good enough to be with you?
Not a single one.
For men or women, you tell me none of them is good enough for you? It's like, come on now. It's like, come on. That's such a wild statement to say. Yeah. That's such a wild statement to stand on.
I don't think you can.
There's no good men.
I don't think there's any leg to stand on.
There's no good women.
Yeah, it's just not.
It don't add up. It don't make sense.
And I, as a man, can admit I've met good women before, bro.
Yeah.
I know good women.
Yeah.
So for me to sit here and be like, yeah, there's no good women, that's spitting in the face of all those women that I've met.
Exactly.
You know, it's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's like, what, do you ladies not have a father in your life? You don't think he's a good man at all? And I know for some of them, they genuinely don't. But y'all ain't got like a brother, an uncle, nobody. No type of male figure that's like a good man.
They might not, or they might not just realize it. They might have good men in their life in terms of having a good father figure. Or maybe having a brother who's, of that stature, or having an uncle who's of that stature. But they might not truly realize it. I think a lot of the times, we kind of take those people for granted.
That's true.
We don't realize how good of people they are.
You think everybody does that.
Exactly.
Everyone has an uncle like that, or everybody has a father like that, or everybody has a brother like that. So you take it for...
So you take it for granted.
Yeah, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Not what they're willing to do.
I also do think, to a certain extent, good men aren't as exciting. So I feel like a lot.
Yeah, they're boring. They're usually the boring guys.
Typically, like if you're a good man, you ain't really into drama.
Nah,
you ain't really into all the BS.
Listen, I'm into stability.
Exactly.
It's like I'm gonna go to work,
and you want,
bills gonna be paid.
We talked about the last podcast. You want peace. Protect your peace.
Exactly.
But 9 out of 10, if you're a good man, you are not trying to have no drama in your life, man. Especially not from your girl.
Because the work is hard enough.
Bruh.
There's enough drama at my workplace.
Exactly.
That way I gotta deal with on the daily basis.
So you want to come home to peace. You want to come home to no yelling, no arguing. Nothing but just cool and calm.
True. Very true.
And I do believe a lot of women kind of do enjoy that chaos of a man who's not that good. A chaos of a man who, has drama, who's talking to other women, who's going to play you, who's going to ignore you, who's going to ghost you, who's going to play those toxic games with you and play with your emotions. As stressful as that is for both parties, it's a certain level of exciting. It's a certain level of excitement.
Yeah.
And I do believe there are certain women out there who enjoy that excitement.
They're attracted to it.
Because you stay with...
Like moss to a flame.
Yeah, because you'll stay with those type of men. With good men, you ain't going to get that. Obviously, no matter what type of relationship you're in, you're going to have your arguments. You're going to have your times where things are going to be a little rough. I'm not saying that. But in terms of just having constant drama, you ain't going to really get that with a good man.
Nah. You'll get more stability.
Exactly. And also, 9 out of 10, if a good man is noticing there's too much drama, there's too much, he finna leave.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna stay.
Nah.
He like, if you ain't gonna bring me peace, why am I here?
You're being the chaos that I don't want.
Exactly. So he's gonna leave. Once he realized to a certain extent, okay, this is getting to be a little too much. There's a little too much argument, a little bit too much chaos, all this other stuff. He's gonna go because he already kind of, like you said earlier, he already has a bunch of other chaos and a bunch of other stuff
that he has to deal with.
That he has to deal with.
So why add the extra?
So why am I adding extra?
Hurt at home.
Yeah, I'd rather come home and be alone. I'd rather come home and be alone and be at peace than come home and be with somebody who's gonna give me chaos.
Mm-hmm. Who want to fight?
Who's gonna want to fight?
Who want to argue? Who want to do the whole thing?
I go to work. I work 12-hour shift. You tell me after a 12-hour shift, I want to come home and argue with you? Yeah. Bruh, no. Yeah. After a 12-hour shift, I want to come home and chill and relax.
Yeah. Maybe watch a game or two.
Watch a game or two or something, bro.
Just chill.
Or unwind. Like, go to sleep. Or, talk to my girl about my day. Talk to her about her day and have a nice little conversation. Mm-hmm. Now, if I come home to my girl after a 12-hour shift and she's yelling at me or complaining or we get into an argument over something dumb, after a while, I'm like, yo, we ain't doing this. Yeah. I'd rather just come home and be alone. Yeah. I'd rather just come home and just be quiet.
Just be at peace.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to nobody.
I don't
want to talk to nobody.
I'll come home to a silent crib, just by myself, and just know I could come in and lay down and go to sleep.
And do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever I want.
And ain't no one going to tell you different.
That's what I'm saying. Watch a YouTube video or two. Pat McAfee won't yell at me. You know what I'm saying? Watch a YouTube video or two and then go to sleep, and then that's it. Yeah. And not have to worry about any of that.
Mm-hmm. I want to add one last thing, frankly, to this as well. I would say when they get with good men, some women specifically, and they just don't know how to handle that relationship, and they themselves are just toxic, they end up. They essentially end up, as you said, kind of pushing that man away, but at the same time not knowing how to fully handle that. So what it does, it calls into question them and makes them realize, damn, I'm the problem. They don't want to be the problem. So what do? They find a bad guy who can actually be the problem, to wherein they can use that as an excuse. I'm not.
As a scapegoat.
It's not me who's ruining the relationship, it's him. But when you're with a good guy, there's no excuses now. Now I have to be on my best behavior. But they don't want to be on their best behavior. Sometimes they want to fool around. Sometimes they want to go do things that they're not supposed to do. And if the guy that they're with is doing those same things, you have an excuse. Yeah. But if he's not doing those same things,
you ain't got no excuse.
You ain't got no excuse now. You can't go out with the girls and party. Yeah. You can't go out drinking. You can't go out smoking. You can't go do none of that. But you get with a guy who does do those things, who got no problem with that. Well, now if I go do those things and he says don't do it,
you're doing the same thing. So now you look like a hypocrite. So you can't really you can't really judge me because you out doing the same thing.
Yeah. So I think some women do that too.
Okay. So I would like to flip it. So why do you think men say there's no good women out there? Because like you said earlier, you've met good women before. Yeah. So it's an insult to say that there's no good women because you've literally seen it with your eyes. I've also met good women. Mm-hmm. So why do you think there are men out there who say there's no good women?
I will start by saying I don't hear that as much as I hear there are no good men. I will admit that. But it still is said. It still is said. And the reason I would say that a lot of guys might think this is because the image of women for a lot of us has been shattered. It's just because of social media, So social media,
you see, that'll work, bro.
And it's a guy put it plainly. They tell on themselves, a lot of women. But the thing about it is, that's not the majority of women. It might be a small minority of them, but they keep telling these stories. And I'm like, damn, you're out here doing this. Oh my God, you're doing that. After a while, you start to think it's all girls, But it's for us as men to realize that's just social media. Yeah, that's just online, And even I myself have fallen in that trap when I was younger, thinking that the women online speak for all women in the world, but that's not the case.
No, not at all.
Not at all. There are plenty of good women out there. There are plenty of good women that don't want to mess around like that. Yeah, that actually are waiting for marriage and that actually staying true to those virtuous values. Yeah, for as many girls that you see doing all that OnlyFans type stuff and going out to parties, and there's still other girls that are going to work, going to school. And they go home, cook themselves some food, maybe watch a YouTube video.
And that's it.
Go to sleep, start the day tomorrow. Yeah. They ain't talking to a whole bunch of people. They might have their girlfriends that they go hang out with every now and then, but they ain't drinking, they ain't smoke, they ain't doing none of that. But those girls aren't posting online they don't see them.
Yeah.
Because they're doing themselves.
They're hard to find.
They're hard to find.
At least in terms of on social media, I should say.
Exactly. You'll find them out in the world. Yeah. You know, if you go approach them and that type of thing.
But you're not going to find them online.
You're not going to find them online. They're not going to be commenting. They're not going to be posting. They're not going to be doing stuff like that. The girls who are the loud ones. The ones who go to the clubs, the bars, those types of things. And a lot of guys, they don't think that's the majority. But it's really just a loud minority speaking for all of us.
Yeah.
That's why I think
social media really has messed up a lot of dudes' brains. Yeah. In terms of that.
The perception of them has just dropped, man.
It reminds me of, and I've seen this video. I don't see it as much anymore because I don't really be, besides the podcast, I don't really be on social media. But anyway, there's a lot of videos I used to see, bro, of like the street interviews.
Yes. Those things.
Bro.
Those things absolutely skew your mind sometimes.
Completely. Because they'll be like, yo, what's something that you ain't never told your mother before? And then like the women would say something outrageous.
Yeah. You know how many of those times where it's like, what's something you need to tell your ex? The amount of girls I heard to say they cheated, or I smashed your friend, or I smashed his brother.
Bruh.
It was, it makes you think that all women cheat.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not the case. But it really do make you think they all do it.
And it kind of skews your image a little bit.
Yeah, man.
And I think a lot of men have seen that. I also personally think that a lot of men kind of get entrapped in the whole like red pill community.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think because so much men get trapped in that, they just think women are like horrible, bro. Mm-hmm. They think women are horrible. They think that the only way for you to get women is just like for you to be like just stupidly rich, have to be crazy high status, need to be in that 1%, and that's the only way that you're gonna get a good woman. And I think a lot of men kind of fall victim to that and victim to that mentality.
That's very true. And if you're not strong enough mentally to get yourself out of that and see past it, you know. And this is kind of like where you feel bad for the younger guys a little bit because you're very susceptible to that kind of thing, especially when a lot of us want women. Right. But for young men, it is difficult to get them sometimes because some of us don't have game. We don't have a whole bunch of money, so we can't just go dropping a lot to get a girl in the first place. You know, a lot of us aren't really in our careers. Some of us are still in high school. Some of us are just starting out of college. Some of us are socially awkward. So the whole aspect of getting girls' attention and all that, we are still kind of growing into our own.
Yeah.
So you see these older men, the guys talking about the whole red pill thing, and they're successful. They got the money, they got the cars. They seem to have these girls on their shows. They seem to know how to get women. So a lot of young men are gonna go there because it's like, well, they have what I want, so I'm gonna go try to listen to them. But in doing that, you poison yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's not the majority of women.
Nah.
And sometimes the women who are going towards those kind of guys, those aren't the women you want in the first place.
Crazy enough. There's a lot of times where the women who are attracted to those kind of guys aren't good women.
No.
Now some of them are. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But
yeah.
There's a majority that aren't. There's a majority that And I think a lot of shows like when Fresh and Fit used to be like pretty big and stuff like that.
Yep.
There were a couple other shows, but I really just don't remember the name.
They're the most notorious one.
Yeah. Well, crazy enough, a lot of those women on there were like OnlyFans models.
Yeah, a lot of them are strippers, OnlyFans models, bottle girls.
So it's like even the women on these shows aren't necessarily
very few times that they have like actually educated women. I mean, they did. I have seen some where they did.
Yeah.
But like that's not the majority.
Of the time, they be having like OnlyFans model on there,
bottle
like
girls, strippers,
and it's crazy because like you looking up to these men, but like look at the women they even have in their
look
show.
At who you surround yourself with.
The women they have on their show aren't even good women, but yet you're watching.
They're not marriage-worthy women, at least.
That's what I'm saying. But yet you're watching this. You think, oh, okay, these guys getting all the girls. Mm-hmm. These guys getting all the baddies. Mm-hmm. So now because of that, you're thinking, well, I'm gonna take their advice.
Exactly.
But yet their advice isn't 100% proof. No, don't get me wrong.
And it leads to hate.
Yeah.
It'll lead to hate in these young men, thinking that they start to hate women actually, and it's terrible because like it's not what it is.
Nah, bro. Crazy enough, men shouldn't hate women. Women shouldn't hate men.
Nah,
we ain't supposed.
We're not supposed to be hating each other.
We're not supposed to be hating each other,
bro. No, we're not.
We're supposed to be working together.
Exactly. It shouldn't be a competition. Nah. It's you help me, I help you.
That's exactly
what it is. Yeah. That's how God intended it to be.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
That's literally how we intended it to be.
It's not a competition. We're not in the same league, so we can't play the same games. So we're supposed to help each other.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. But we lost sight of that.
We lost sight of God.
We have lost.
Simply put.
God, which is so sad.
Simply put.
Which is so sad.
It's disappointing. But I mean, what can you do about it? At this point, all you can really do, I don't believe it can be fixed. I know it's a really dark, just a really dark way to think about it, but I don't think one single person talking about it, because there's thousands of shows, thousands of podcasts that talk about the same issue.
Yeah.
All of us talk about these same issues, and we've been talking about these things for the past 10 years. Nothing's changed. It's only gotten worse. So what does that tell you? No one person could fix this. It's a generational thing.
Yeah.
It has to just kind of go through, it has to just go its course. It has to just go its course. I believe the next generation will realize the mistakes that have been made. And I also think that, because we were the first generation to come up with social media, we kind of we're the testing grounds for the next generation that has it to do it better.
Yeah, that's fair. Because of the amount of technological advancement that we're involved in, and it's kind of crazy.
Bro, it took 24 years for us to have these cell phones. I remember early 2000s.
Oh yeah, it wasn't this.
We were still getting out of the 90s, man.
Yeah, it wasn't this.
Like I of course I was like a child during these times, but I could vaguely remember just some of the technology that we had. This is just light years ahead of that.
Yeah.
And it only took 24 some odd years.
Bro, we got the internet in our pocket, bro.
Literally. Our parents used to use beepers.
Yeah.
You had to go to internet cafes. That's where you got Wi-Fi. Not even at your house. You had to go to a cafe.
You know what's crazy? You could be in the street, you got Wi-Fi.
Literally.
You could be in the street, you have data, bro.
Literally.
Your thing turned on, everything connected. You could talk whoever you want to, text whoever you want to, look up whatever you want, search the internet like this in a second, bro.
That's how far we've come. And I think that's in regards to the whole relationships thing, man. Actually, I think we just kind of got to go through the motions.
And just kind of wait it out.
Yeah, that's all we can do. So individually work on yourself. Try to make yourself the best possible person that you could be. Men and women, and just try to find a person who's equivalent. That's the best thing you can do. At this point, you can't worry about the world.
No,
you can't. No one person could fix this. No one man or one woman. No president. No resident. No, none of them. It just has to do its course. That's my opinion, at least.
That's fair. And frankly, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think this is life, man. This is what it is. This is the bed that we have to lay in.
Yeah.
Over the years, over all the movements, over really just everything that's taken place.
Yep. And I must say, some of it is our fault as the generation coming up into it, because we could choose to not partake in this, but a lot of it isn't, because this has happened way before us.
Yeah.
Some of the decisions that have been going on 50, 60 odd years, we weren't alive. At least for the kids born in the 2000s and up, kind of like coming into the dating market now. It's just we weren't around to make those decisions. So
yeah,
the consequences of it it is what we kind of gotta take it. But we could choose not to play the game.
Yeah, but we're not going. We're gonna keep playing the game.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a lot of people in today's society to choose not to play the game.
That's not gonna happen.
In order for things to change.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. You just have to choose individually not to play it.
Yeah, facts.
That's all you can.
And then just hope you find somebody who on the same type of wave as you.
Literally.
Hope you find someone who's also not playing the game.
Literally, yeah.
That's mainly it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really the only way out for right now, in terms of us, because you already know, kind of like you were saying before, no big changes are gonna happen right now.
Nope.
No generational change is gonna happen right now.
No.
So what you do is you go out there and you find someone who's not playing the game. It might take some time to find someone. It might take some time to find that. You might got to talk to, a decent amount of people as well to kind of, vet them and kind of see what their morals are, see how they carry themselves. But it's definitely doable. It's definitely possible. You could definitely find it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you got to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that's what kind of, both men and women like this is patient.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, especially in terms of relationships, they want it now.
And
what are you going to say?
Kind of going off of the whole they want it now, but sometimes when they get it, they're not willing to fight for it too.
Mm.
I was watching the video, funny enough, before the show, and girl was essentially like, I'm not going to give up on my man because he's not going to give up on me. Like, I'm going to fight for the relationship. Going through all the tough times. That's what our grandparents used to do.
Yeah.
We seem to have very short attention spans. I don't want to play with this toy. I'm going to throw it away.
Yeah.
and we treat that like our relationships.
That is true.
That they're just easily exposable, and I can go find another good person better than you. When sometimes you really just gotta stick it out with if they're really trying, you stick out with that person.
I heard a saying, it's kind of a cliche saying, the grass is always greener, but I heard someone talk about that. They're like, the grass isn't necessarily always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you take care of it. The grass is greener where you water.
Exactly.
So do you think, and this podcast is going to be a little longer than what we've been doing, but it's fine. So I'm curious, because you talked about, fighting for the relationship, right? And I feel like, we don't always fight for the relationship. We kind of, like you said, have a shorter attention span, kind of just want to go. Do you think, though, there's an appropriate time to stop fighting for the relationship?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
I
don't think you should fight for a person who doesn't want you. Like, if that person's like, I don't love you, I don't want you, then you can't fight for. Fight for that.
That's fair.
You can't. I wouldn't say fight for an abusive relationship. Like if your man's hitting you or if your girl's putting their hands on you, you don't fight for something like that. If they're just abusive, they're just a very bad human being. But if it's just little things, maybe little arguments that you might have here or there. Overall, the whole relationship is good, but overall, like the relationship is good, but like it's just like the small little hiccups as all relationships kind of have, because you're gonna have disagreements here and there.
That's true.
You don't throw it away because of something like that.
That's true.
If you have different like views on certain topics, you kind of work through. Maybe you can agree to disagree, and just not talk about those specific things. But like overall, if they're like a good person and they're willing to stick it out with you and actually try, it's kind of like why? Like why give up on them? You have the same morals. You have the same, thoughts on maybe life, thoughts on raising children, thoughts on like what you kind of see, but you just have a couple other disagreements. Why throw it away for something minor?
That's very fair. That's very fair. And that makes a lot of sense. For you personally, are there certain things within a relationship that you won't continue to fight for? Like, I know you said like abusiveness and stuff like that, but there are certain things in your relationship that I guess
if done, I would give up on it.
Yeah.
Without.
Yeah. Like if done, you're like, listen, I'm not gonna fight for this because I just deem this not.
Okay. Did you agree with the statement I was making though?
I do agree with your statement. Yeah. I do agree with your statement.
I would say lying. I can't really look past that, because it really. I believe all relationships, regardless of whether or not they're platonic or sexual, are built off of trust and built off of me being able to tell you I'm doing this or that and you actually believing me. The minute we kind of lose that, you kind of start second guessing. That leads to chaos, in my opinion. So lying is something that I probably wouldn't look past. Disrespect is another thing. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just the man in us, but I can't.
You can't be disrespectful.
Yeah, I can't really tolerate this. I wouldn't tolerate disrespect from another man, and
let alone my shorty.
Yeah, and there's a higher possibility you get physical with like another guy who's doing it. So like, why would I accept my woman doing that to me? It's just kind of like, nah, I'm not gonna do something like that. Because you disrespect me, then my kids start to disrespect me. They ain't gonna think they can talk to dad in any way, especially if they see you do it in front of them. I would say those two things kind of come to mind for me personally. Do you have any particular one for yourself?
I agree with yours, for a fact. Lying is huge. Kind of like you said, man. And crazy enough, I think lying kind of goes with respect. I think a lot of people lie to people who they don't really have respect for.
That's true.
Like if I have respect for you as a person, there's no real need for me to lie to you.
Yeah.
If I look at you a certain way, there's no real need for me to lie to you. And I agree with you. Lying brings a certain sense of chaos. Jordan Peterson talked about, when you're lying, it's kind of like you're toying with reality. Mm-hmm. When you're lying, you're like trying to like twist reality to a certain
manipulating it.
Yeah. And no one really has that right. No one really has that right to toy or change with reality, other than, in my personal opinion, God. Other than that, I don't think any of us humans really have that right to do so. So lying is a huge one for me. Because also, once you start lying too, I don't really know what else is true.
Yeah.
You lie to me about this, but
calls me to question everything else.
Everything else. I don't know what else is true and what else is not. Disrespect is a huge thing. I don't really need to get into that. Kind of already got into that as well. Like just, I think you gotta just have respect for people.
Yeah.
You know, similar to you disrespect me in front of the kids. Now the kids gonna want to talk to me any type of way. Yeah. Now you think you could talk to me any type of way and get away with things? I'm not a fan of that.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're just not loyal, like if you step outside the relationship,
of course,
anything like that.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I wouldn't. I think I would. Not. I think I would definitely break up with you. I don't find that. A lot of this is also kind of just like different forms of disrespect. How I look at it as well.
Yeah, frankly, you can kind of categorize all of it as disrespect.
At the end of the day,
yeah.
Lying is
you just don't tolerate disrespect.
Cheating is disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah. Any type of deception is really just disrespectful. To be honest, I feel like those are like the main ones. And then also like if our morals just don't line up.
That's true. Yeah. Sometimes you're good people, but you're just not.
Like if our morals don't line up, and our picture for the future doesn't line up. Then I wouldn't necessarily fight for that. Because at the end of the day, we both want something different.
Exactly. We want to be somewhere else.
You want to be somewhere else.
Yep.
You have a certain set of morals that you live by. You have a certain future that you see yourself as. And then I might have a certain set of morals that I live by and a certain future that I see myself as. And if those don't really line up, personally, I don't believe we should continue.
Yeah, why waste each other's time?
Why waste each other's time?
Go find people who actually have those morals and align with the vision that you see for your future. How you want to raise your kids.
Because eventually we gonna hit a crossroad.
Yeah.
It might be cool now, depending on the age, depending on what we might have in life. It might be cool right now. But eventually we going to hit a crossroads where it's like, well, I want to go this way, and you want to go this way. It ain't finna.
I have
work.
An acquaintance of mine that we went to our undergrad with, and him and his girl, I remember talking to him. He was like, he doesn't want kids, and he doesn't want to get married. And he's known that for some time. His girl wants kids, and she wants to be married. So I asked him, I'm like, yo, like, you guys don't have the same, like, when are you going to have that conversation? He was like, listen, she knows what I want. She knows what it is. She's just saying, like, we'll wait until later to talk about this. Like, we won't, do it now. And I'm like, well, you're just kicking the can down the road. That's all you're really doing. So say they don't have this conversation until they're, late 20s.
That's awkward. I also think, too, like, for the girl.
You done used up all your years with this one dude that don't want what you want.
And in that case, it hurts the girl so much more than the man.
Yeah.
Because the girl has a biological clock, a man doesn't. Also, he's not even trying to have kids, but you are. Yeah. It's like y'all should just, for her sake, y'all should just break up so now she can use this time to find a man.
Actually find a man that wants those things.
Who actually wants to have a kid while she might be in her mid-20s or something.
Yeah.
Compared to, you going to figure it out with what, you 30? Yeah. Then what? Then he going to leave. You going to be like, damn, well, I still want to get married and have kids.
Yeah. But you don't have the pull that you want to have when you're 20.
It's not the same, bro.
Nah.
It ain't the same. Mm-mm. That's kind of sad. I ain't gonna lie. I feel bad for Shorty. God bless. If you watching this, baby, God bless. You know what I'm saying? I wish you the best, for real.
Yeah, I guess. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. Yeah. A lot of women are in relationships like that, man.
Which is wild. But that's something I wouldn't continue to fight for.
No.
Like at that point, like,
because you don't have the same.
You don't have the same morals.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. There's a lot of things there's a lot of petty arguments that happen that don't necessarily. You don't gotta break up because of the petty argument.
Nah.
You could just work through it and get through it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times now, I think a lot of people would just get into an argument or two, view it as, well, this is just toxic, this is horrible, and then they'll just move on.
Well, at the end of the day, it could just be two adults talking.
Exactly. Could just be a simple disagreement that if y'all just sat there and talked it out, y'all both would have got to a point where I'm comfortable and you're comfortable.
Yeah, I'd say.
That's crazy. Well, get to the end of the show. Around this time we give advice. So Trey, you got any advice you want to give to the people?
You don't gotta follow the what's cool, going out to bars and clubs and those types of things, man. You can, I say, lead your own path. Follow your own heart and what you want to do. I would suggest trying to do things that are good for you, i.e. going to the gym. And this goes for both men and women.
Everyone should be going to the gym.
Going to the gym, trying to eat healthy.
Facts.
Trying to cut out alcohol if you can. I know for a lot of us, we're going to do that anyway. It is what it is. Try to cut out smoking if you can. I know for a lot of us, it is what it is. But these are just kind of like things that I think if you could try to incorporate them into your life, they can be beneficial to you in the long run. So yeah, I'd say do that, and try not to get too discouraged about the whole dating thing. I believe there's both good men and good women out there. You're just not gonna see them online. That's just it. So, try to be the best possible man that you can be the best possible woman that you can be, and try to attract those people. I think good people attract other good people. Yeah. That's why I've been so lucky in life. So, I'd say.
I feel that. My advice would be like, kind of just like don't give up. What I mean by don't give up is, if you're dating and you're having a hard time finding somebody, don't just give up. I've come across people who said like, you know what, I just think I'm going to be alone forever and I'm not going to marry anybody.
For real, bro.
And I'm like, listen, like it ain't.
A lot of my girlfriends be saying that,
bro. And crazy enough, it ain't got to be that.
No, it don't.
Really ain't got to be like that.
And it's crazy because they're our age.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like 21, 24, 23. And I'm like, you have like a good 7 years
like you still got some time.
You have some time.
So
you seem so hopeless.
Yeah, for real. So don't give up. don't start saying that. Because to me, that's a wild statement. Like you ain't going to find nobody.
And you're putting that energy out there in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you keep saying that over and over and that's truly what you believe, then you probably won't.
Yeah, you probably won't.
But it's like, listen, don't. Personally, I believe. Don't believe in that. Don't buy into that narrative. Don't give up. There are good people out there. It just takes time to find those people. And just once you find somebody, just take time to vet them.
Yeah.
Before you
don't rush into things.
Don't rush into it. Just take time to vet them as a person. Take time to make sure that, you guys' morals line up, that you both want the same thing, that they are a person of good character, that they're actually that they actually are the person that they say they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think all those things are huge before you kind of jump into anything else. So that would be my advice. So thank y'all for listening.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
A little bit longer today.
Yeah, a little bit longer. Yeah, a little bit longer. We appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with us, continue to show us support. Thank you guys so much. We cannot thank you guys enough.
Especially made it to the end.
Big facts. You can find us on Instagram. That's going to be NOA_podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. That is where all the episodes are available. You can find us on TikTok as well. It's going to be NOA Podcast 1 and NOA Podcast 2. Once again, thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.
Have a good one.
Hi, I'm Paul.
This guy.
No, what's the problem, man?
I'm getting myself together, man.
Hey. You're Mr. Ladies, man.
Nah, let's stop that right there.
What you mean?
First of all, your son's a pimp. So clearly his father no game. Don't do that to me.
Listen, man.
Don't do that to me.
What are you talking
Don't
about?
do that.
His father knows game. Listen, bro.
He had to learn it somewhere.
He learned it through practice, man. That's it.
And you.
Through practice. I learned the game.
And
I learned the game of football not from my father, but just through practice.
Yeah, you learn football through practice, of course, but you learn game. He learned game through you.
I ain't got no ladies, man.
Yes, you
Miles
do,
has a little lady.
Yes, you do, Tyler.
I had one lady and she don't even like me no more.
That's cap. You. Let's not even.
I got